Today is part two of my interview with Justin Prestidge. He is the owner of Custom Trailer Pros. And today we're going to be talking about something that's absolutely unheard of in our industry, or actually in the builder industry, and that is his company offers a 1-year in-house warranty, not only on the trailer parts that they build, but also on the equipment they install for you. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. How confident are you about your menu pricing? Are your prices profitable, or are you just scraping by? If you're not sure, I've got just what you need. Table Needs has built a super simple menu pricing calculator that you can use for free, and it will help you figure out the best price point for every item on your menu. Get started with Table Needs menu pricing calculator today at tableneeds.com, or you'll find a direct link in the description below the podcast. That's a good point, calling it an ecosystem, because that's really what it is. When somebody buys an iPhone, for example, they are buying into the ecosystem that Apple has created, the iCloud right. and all those different things. And they all kind of tie together, and people learn to love that. When you have a builder that's creating an ecosystem, it's a reason to not only choose that builder, but then to stay with that builder, to get your second and your third trailer with them, because it's going to be a much easier process. One of the things that you mentioned about us seeing deposits that are given and then, nothing ever comes out of it. There was a builder in, say, San Antonio, Texas, that was collecting, and that's all he was doing, was collecting deposits. He collected upwards of $250,000 worth of deposits and then just gone, basically over the border.
Wow.
And they have arrested a number of people, and most of the people that they arrested were like, well, I didn't know he was doing that. They had some type of involvement, but they haven't gotten the main guy yet.
Right.
That's just a crazy amount of money that no one said, well, why am I not getting my stuff right now?
Exactly. It's such a huge problem. I've seen it again. I know on the Facebook group, I won't mention names, but there's been even some specific companies of like, hey, we don't try to badmouth anybody, but there's legitimate news articles that are now coming out about stuff. And all it takes, if you're going to make that investment, if you're going to make an investment into a food truck or food trailer, even in 15 minutes of research, you can find out a lot about the person you're getting this from or the company that you're looking at getting it from. As buyers and as consumers, we tend to focus first on, well, what does it cost? Can I get the color I want? Can I get the equipment I want? And we're looking at all those things because it doesn't even occur to us. We assume that we're getting it from a reputable company. Right. And price point is one of the biggest traps that we see people fall into, where a fully equipped food trailer is $30,000, brand new out the door. We promise it'll pass inspections and all that stuff with a fire suppression system in it and all that. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in today's day and age, with a hot cook line of a 4-burner range with an oven, a griddle, a deep fryer, a refrigerator, sandwich prep table, and fire suppression gas lines, sinks, all that stuff, it just doesn't cost $30,000 for a quality version of that product. And so when you see those prices and you're shopping around, the first reaction shouldn't be like, sweet, I just found a great deal. It should be, hold on a second, what's really going on here? And let me find out more about this. I'm 100% for a deal. I love deals. I am a sucker for a good deal. I've been bit by the deal bug in the past. I come from a long line of men in my family who love a good deal. And so I don't begrudge anybody who's looking for that, but it is a pitfall that we can fall into of when we're trying to get that deal and we see those dollar signs and it's the only thing that we're worried about. And that can get us into a lot of trouble very quickly. We have a lot of customers who come back and go, yeah, it took me 6 months longer than I thought it was going to take, because I bought the cheap trailer, had to put all this time into it, and I had to sink a bunch of more money into it. It ended up costing me the same price as what it would have cost new, and I lost the entire selling season. It's heartbreaking to hear those stories. I hate that, even for our industry. It makes the entire industry look bad.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
there's a lot of our industry is filled, like a lot of industries. It's not exclusive to us, but there's a lot of used car salesmen out there, in a manner of speaking, who like to talk a good talk, but boy, do they struggle to fulfill on the other end of that anywhere close to what they've promised.
Oh, that's for sure. Just listening to what you're talking about, I can relate to so many other people have told me exactly what you said. They buy that inexpensive trailer. They think, oh, I've got that great deal. When I see those comments or they're telling me in person, I'm like, do you realize that you're going to be on the other end of that spectrum at some point? You're going to have this plate of food that somebody's going to say, that costs too much. So what are you
Right.
going to do? You're going to back the price down. And if you're backing the price down, what are you doing to make profit? You're getting a less good cut of meat. You're cutting portions. You're doing something so you keep your profitability up. Well, the builders are the exact same way. It's not like they found some great deal on materials and they're able to pass those savings on to you, because they're just not there. There's no builder that I know of that can buy in such a volume that they can get volume discounts on the basics.
Right.
Certainly even equipment. You don't want to have inventory of equipment sitting hoping somebody's coming in today to buy it. You
Right.
guys probably have just a handful of things based on what you have on your production line.
Right.
You don't have 15 or 20 coolers sitting waiting on somebody to buy them. It just kills me that they want to go for that. Oh, that $30,000 trailer. Well, it's a $50,000 problem. 30,000 for it.
Right, exactly. And we've always told our customers that our desire isn't to be the cheapest out there. We're not the most expensive by any means, but our desire is to be the best value. Hey, there's others that are in the same price range as us, but we guarantee the service that you receive from us afterwards, the service that you get from us while your trailer is being built, the communication that you get throughout. And the reality is that you're going to get what you ordered from us. And so it's such a silly little thing to say. But again, we've heard the stories of people like, well, I ordered this and then I got this from somebody and it wasn't anywhere close to what I was expecting. I mean, one of the things that we do no marketing for this. We don't advertise it. And generally, it's not even part of our sales process. But one of the things that we do on the back end of a deal is we give our customers an in-house 1-year warranty on their product. Typically speaking, the way it would go is if you have a griddle that has a problem in your food truck and you call the builder and say, hey, my griddle's not working. They go, great. The griddle is made by South Bend. Here's their phone number. And good luck. We hope you get your warranty service. Well, we know from experience, our first step was we'll try to handle warranty interference, and we would call those companies. And I'm not saying South Bend did a bad job. It's just one manufacturer. But we spent a lot of time on the phone trying to get warranty work on behalf of our customers done. And so we know how difficult it is. I made a decision a few years ago to say, okay, this is just not working. It's cost me more money to try and track these companies down than it is for us to just take care of these problems. And so we do that. And we do it for customers who every spring we get a bunch of calls that say, my water heater cracked and broke. Well, that's because they didn't winterize their trailer and the water froze in the water heater and it cracked. It's not even a warranty issue. But if it's in that first year, we say, okay, here's why that happened. Do you remember the email we sent out about winterizing your trailer type stuff? We try to educate and give information on how to do all that stuff. But for people who don't, we talk them through why that happened, all that stuff. And then we say, and we're going to send you out a replacement water heater. And we order it and we ship it to them. Now they have to get it swapped out, but it's not it's an easily accessible job for that to happen. And so we help them out with that. Griddles, fryers, whatever. We'll either have it repaired or replaced at our cost in the first year. And that's just an included service that we give. I've told my service manager, we don't need to mess around with trying to chase down all the warranties and do all that stuff. Just help our customers out and get it done, because we know it's a pain. And downtime for a food truck is a major issue. If you miss a big event because your refrigerator isn't working and it's going to take 3 weeks for the manufacturer to fix it or even send somebody out just to look at it, that's a big problem. And so we step in and intervene and help our customers during that first year because we don't want to see them stuck with that downtime or dealing with those issues.
That's the way it should be. Just that alone makes you the upper echelon of builders. Just so that people understand this is such a big deal, I want to share a story about another builder, very big builder. They put out a bunch of units every month. They're actually not bad units. They're very solidly built, but like anything that's man-made, there will be issues. And it doesn't make the manufacturer bad or the component manufacturer bad. It just happens.
Right.
And just like you said, South Bend can have one bad product. Not an issue with South Bend as a manufacturer. It's just it happens. So in this particular instance, I was working with the owner of the food truck, and he calls me up one day and he's in a panic. Bill, my lock won't work. I can't get in, and I've got to be selling here at Amazon in like the next half hour. I can't get in. Can you help me? So I explained to him how I could get into his trailer. Because you can break into them relatively easy. I mean, they're not real secure things. So I told him how he could get into it so he could make his service. So he got into it, made his service. 2 or 3 days later, he calls me back and he has the opposite problem. The lock has failed again, but this time he's inside and he can't get out. I can't do what you told me to do before because I'm on the inside now.
Right.
So he ended up crawling out through the window and hooking up his trailer and going home. Never heard from him again. But about a month or so later on our Facebook group, he says, hey, y'all, I've got a problem with these locks. Can y'all give me some tips? And he shared a story where the night before he got stuck at the end of a third shift. So he's there in the middle of the night, can't get out of his trailer. And he said, it's the second time this has happened to me. What can I do? So I took it upon myself to talk to the manufacturer that built his trailer, because now that's 3 times he's had a lock fail.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that the manufacturer sent him a new lock in between the first failure and the third failure. So that means there's a problem with the lock. There's no way you've had 2 of them fail back to back in that short of time.
Right.
So I just said, hey, you might want to check into the manufacturer of the lock system you guys are using, because it's now failed on this one guy twice. And he's the only one that's talking about it. But I would imagine other people have failed and didn't want to report it and just worked around it or, changed it themselves or whatever. They would not.
Wow.
They would not do anything to help him. And I said, here's a golden opportunity for you to get on my Facebook group and say, hey, I see you've had a problem. We're going to ship you out a free lock because we're awesome builders. And I would have let that post go through because that's what I wanted them to do. But I wanted them to take the initiative to do it.
Right.
And say, no, not us. Okay, fine. I'll be sure to pass that on to everybody that asks too.
Right. Yeah, it's such a sad time. I mean, we get this, you realize it when you call anybody for customer service and you realize how lacking it is today to get good customer service. And when you spend a lot of money on something that's for your business to help you get started out on your own. I'm an entrepreneur. I know how hard it is to start something from scratch, get it off the ground, and experience success. That's a really difficult journey to go through. And if you haven't gone through it, it's really hard to understand how challenging that is. And so when we have every single one of our customers is a startup, they are starting something. This is their dream. We have a lot of people we get all kinds of amazing stories, and we love every single one of them where I've been a police officer for 20 years. I'm retiring. What I really want to do is open a food truck. That's an amazing story. We'd love to partner with you in getting that rolling and help you be as successful as possible. To hear that and know how difficult it is to get to the place of getting rolling, and then you have an issue like that, and you call a place where you've spent $70,000 or whatever it is, and you can't get a hold of anybody, or they do a song and dance as much as possible to try and get out of helping you out, or they drag their feet, whatever. I'm an empathetic person. I put myself in their shoes, and I think that would be so awful. And we have covered so many warranty issues that have nothing to do with us. And it's because, hey, I just can't stand to see you, my customer, go through this I mean, this is kind of the funniest part about it. They have no idea how bad it would be if they tried to go through the actual warranty process with the manufacturer. But we do. And so I don't even make them try. When they call us and say, hey, we've got a problem with the fryer or whatever. Okay, great. We'll help you figure it out, or we'll send you a new one. Mm-hmm. Like we'll get you taken care of. And they think, oh, this is amazing. This is what happens when you buy a food truck. And our customers don't know. No, across the industry, that's not a normal thing. And that's just so sad to me that it's not anymore. It's a lot like buying a car. People think that coming in and buying a food truck is just like buying a car. I'll be able to go to a lot somewhere. There'll be a bunch of trucks there. We'll pick out the one that has the setup that works best for us, and we'll be on our way. And then when we get it back home, we'll set up and we'll start selling, in a few days. And it just couldn't be further from the truth. Of all your inspections, all the health codes, the fire safety codes, sometimes you have to deal with the state, the county, and the city. And it's the Wild West out there. They're all making stuff up as they go along. And then sometimes you go to a specific event, and that event has their own set of rules that they want you to follow that has nothing to do with all the other rules that you've passed. And then, God forbid, you want to go to the next county over. There can be a whole different set of rules that they have. So, it is the Wild West out there. So this is, again, where all these little things add up to why it's difficult to do this and why it's important to partner with somebody who can help you navigate this stuff ahead of time. I'm not trying to tout our company like we're the only ones who do it. I always tell customers, explore, research, ask. Here are questions like, hey, call me, call 5 other builders as well. Here's the questions that you want to make sure you have a really good understanding of the answers to before you pull the trigger. I don't care if you pull the trigger with me or not, in the sense of if there's someone else who's doing as good a job as I am and they're a better fit for you, then great. I want you to be successful. Obviously, I care if they buy from me or not, because I love having customers, and I won't be able to do this for much longer without them. As a business, we want to do a good job and serve our customers well so that we can continue doing this for a long time. And the way that we've found to do it, it really is the golden rule, right? Of just treating people the way we want to be treated. This is why I like your group on Facebook so much, is it truly is a really helpful and good tool in a world where it's really hard to get good, helpful info. It's really hard to be successful, just like it is in any business. Food truck operation is not unique in that regard. If I try to start a roofing company today, that would also be really hard to get off the ground. Going out on your own is difficult enough when you're doing it by yourself. Building a community of people around you that are truly supportive and have your best interest in mind is always going to be really important. And your builder is only one of those tools that you can utilize, but there's lots of other resources and ways to be successful within the community.
Tomorrow we'll conclude the interview with Justin Prestidge, and we are going to be talking about how to turn stumbling blocks into stepping stones so you can reach your financial goals. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow, because I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.